Hi, welcome back. On this episode, we're going to change an engine coolant temperature sensor on a 97 Chevy. It's the 4.3 and two-wheel drive Vortec. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button, and check me out on Instagram and Facebook at Clara Garage. Let's get started. Alright, so this is my 97 Chevy. It's been hard starting lately. I thought maybe it was the EGR. I've had the EGR fail before on this truck, and it was similar symptoms. But issues I was having starting it, I'd have to hold it to the floor and then turn the key on to get it to start. Otherwise, most of the time it wouldn't start. And when it did fire up, it was rolling out black smoke for a few seconds there. And then other issues that I had that I didn't think were related was driving down the road. It would, if you're in town, the engine was racing so much that every now and then you'd have to hit the brakes to slow it down. It was almost like driving with cruise control on. And the other issue I had was it wouldn't shift from third into overdrive. So I thought I had something wrong with the transmission possibly. Backstory on this truck, it was parked for about 4 years since last time I had it on the road. So I just thought that maybe I had a bad ground somewhere or something and was thinking something like that maybe. Or that something was stuck in the transmission. Sometimes when vehicles sit for a while, you end up getting multiple problems. Sometimes it's multiple things that are just one issue, and other times you could have multiple issues that are multiple problems. When they sit, things happen sometimes for any long period of time. If they're sitting outside, it's usually even worse. There's a lot more fluctuation in temperature, more moisture and electrical connectors and that. In this case, it's been sitting in the heated garage, so it was in a good climate. So if your vehicle is hard starting, not shifting into overdrive, it might be something like your temperature sensor. Alright, so I've already loosened off the old temperature sensor, and when I was loosening it off, I accidentally broke the plastic off the top of it. But it's garbage anyways. So I'll show you where it's at. So easy way to locate it. Here's our upper rod hose going into our thermostat housing. Inside here would be our thermostat. And then just in front, right here, is our engine coolant temperature sensor. On my dad's 95 Suburban, it's not quite so buried down there. It's a lot easier to get to. But there it is right there. And keep in mind, when you pull that out, you're going to have fluid coming out. So I've already pre-loosened this off so we can take it out all the way and hopefully not drop it. So our new temperature sensor, I bought it online. And there's the part number. And for a part number, it has EF0074, and then it has a stock number, which is 73914, and it's called temp sensor, but it's the engine coolant temperature sensor. So here's our sensor, and I had ordered the one that comes with the new plug-in, just in case I need the new plug-in. I'll have it. It was pretty cheap. The place that I ordered it from had the best price that I've seen, and it was I think $12 or $13 Canadian. I did see it on other sites, same part number, same kit, same manufacturer, and it was around $30. And I'm sure if you go to the suppliers, it would be more than that. So not overly pricey. And then if I didn't break this piece off, that would be on there, something like that. So doing a comparison side by side, they look identical. They look like the same threads, same depth. So I like to try to verify everything. It's kind of busted up in there, but looks like the same terminals. So it should be a direct replacement. So it already comes with some thread goop on here, so you just have to thread in. You don't need to put anything else extra on. And when testing these sensors, In room temperature, you should normally be somewhere between 2 to 4 K ohms. So we can put a meter on this real quick actually and check it. So I have my multimeter here. I'm going to try to set it up so we can hopefully see it. Not sure if we can see the numbers there or not. So I always like to, when I use my multimeter, if I'm checking resistance, I like to do a dead short first, see what the meter's reading. Right now I'm reading, it dropped down to 0.0. Now it's back to 0.01. For the resistance range that we're going to be in, I'm not too worried about 1 ohm resistance. And then we're going to carefully stick our meter on the 2 terminals, and then we can take our resistance reading. So I'm across the terminals now, give the meter a second to level out, and we're reading a solid 2.4 K, so that's 2400 ohms. So that checks out right on spec, so we're good there. Now we're ready to thread our temperature sensor back in. Alright, so we're just going to carefully thread this in. Can't quite get a good angle on it because this is here, so I'm just going to try to get at it with a wrench. Alright, that's all the way in, and now we're going to put a little dielectric grease on our connector and plug it in. The old connector doesn't look too bad. I think it'll be okay for a little bit. But if your connector's in poor shape, if you get that one, it does come with a new end. So I'm going to put this in my glove box after and tag what it's for, and then I'll have a spare connector if I ever need it. So we'll take a little dielectric grease and put it on the connector. And now we'll plug it in. Alright, so we're going to plug it in. I'm not sure if we can see it on camera. I was looking at the old one, and you can see where the threads are, right about around where my finger is, where the threads are dirty. That part was sticking out, and we have a similar thread count on the new one, so we should be in all the way. And then we just take our connector and slip it on. Alright, that's all the way on. If you need to see how to take it off, you just lift up on that tab and then pull it straight off. On that temperature sensor is a 19 mil wrench or a 3/4. 19 mil and 3/4 are the same size. So that's what you have to use to get that out, or at least in my case. The old one and the new one were both 19 mil. And on my dad's truck as well, it was also a 19 mil, and that was a 95. So we're going to jump in and fire it up, and it should just fire right up. Should be pretty good. Keep in mind that you lost some coolant, so you're going to have to top up your reservoir and maybe your rad. We can take a quick peek right now at the rad because it's cold. Never take your rad cap off when your engine's hot because it will potentially blow up in your face, and it'd be scalding hot water and it wouldn't be very nice. So this is down just a hair, which makes sense because we would have lost a little bit of fluid. But for just firing it up, it'll be okay. And I'll top it up later, or I'll just add extra fluid to the reservoir. And then when the engine heats up and then cools, it should just suck it in from the reservoir. And I'll just monitor it for a few days. So let's go fire it up. So we're going key on. Fuel pump stopped running, and now we're going to turn the key over. Idle right down. Alright, that fired right up, and then it idled right down like it should. It's only running for a minute and a half, and we're idled down to about 800 RPM in park. I gave it a couple shots of gas there. There's no hesitation. That's one thing I forgot to mention. It also had a mean hesitation when you go hit the gas before. You'd hit the gas and almost like it wanted to stall for a second, and then it would take off and go. Probably because the temperature sensor was reading really resistive, which would have made it think it was really cold outside. So it would have been overfueling. So when you hit the gas, it go to dump more fuel in, but the engine didn't want the extra fuel, and it would cause a stumble. So when you do this, you're going to want to just keep an eye on that over a drive or two, and just make sure that it's not leaking once it's under pressure and everything. And then to recap the issues that I had, it really hard starting. I had to, with the key off, put it to the floor, turn the key on and start it, then it'd fire up. And then other issue I had was drivability. If you were at idle or going to leave a light and you'd hit the gas, it would stumble and fall on its face for a second, and then it would take off and go. And then other issue that I had was that it was always idling high. So I'd be driving down the road, and if I was in a slower speed limit area, I'd actually have to hit the brakes every now and then to slow the truck down because it would creep up in speed too much. And it would also idle very high. Another issue that I had that was linked to this was it wouldn't shift from third gear into overdrive. And that was linked to this as well. One thing to note, when it was reading really resistive but still reading, it was not throwing a code. So there was no engine light caused by this. So that's something worth noting. And then I'm not sure in every case, but in my case, I was able to unplug that temperature sensor, and my truck started good, and I was able to drive it again. And then once it was unplugged, I was throwing a high voltage circuit for the engine coolant sensor, which makes sense. When you're at open circuit, you're going to have maximum voltage, versus like short circuit, there would be no voltage drop theoretically across that, where open circuit, you'd have a voltage drop between those points. Yeah, so those were the issues that I was having that were linked to this. I actually thought that some of those issues were part of the EGR, because I've had to replace the EGR in this before, and because it had stuck open, and it was very similar for starting. I'd have to hold it to the floor sometimes to get it to go, but it ended up being the temperature sensor. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button, and check me out on Instagram and Facebook at Clara Garage. Have a great night.